just 2 years, at least 18 CIA sources inside China were reportedly executed or imprisoned. Then, the entire network went silent. The damage reached beyond the people who disappeared. It compromised access to information about a government developing military technology, protecting strategic facilities, and managing one of the world's most powerful states. So, why should you care? Because intelligence failures can leave governments blind when decisions about national security, communications, and military technology have to be made quickly. The question is how China identified those sources, how the network was dismantled, and what the operation revealed about the system behind it. That investigation begins with the methods used to penetrate Western institutions. A 2021 report by the Australian Strategic Policy Institute found that Chinese operatives had targeted more than 10,000 global elites for influence or recruitment, including government officials, diplomats, and military officers. The report detailed how Chinese intelligence uses a mix of flattery, business opportunities, and sometimes blackmail to turn influential figures into unwitting assets. The Ministry of State Security, or MSS, and the United Front Work Department are the architects of the system. The MSS runs classic spy operations, but the United Front's genius is in the blurring line between legitimate exchange and covert influence. In 2021, a leaked database revealed that the United Front had mapped out tens of thousands of Western politicians, academics, and business leaders for targeting and cultivation. The CCP's strategy is patient. It can take years to cultivate a source, but the payoff is enormous. In 2018, the US Department of Justice charged Jerry Chun-Shing Lee, a former CIA officer, with passing secrets to Chinese intelligence. Lee's betrayal led to the dismantling of the CIA's network in China. Dozens of US informants were arrested or executed. The New York Times called it one of the worst intelligence failures in decades. But Lee's case is just the tip of the iceberg. In 2019, the US charged former State Department employee Kevin Patrick Mallory with selling classified documents to Chinese agents. Mallory, a fluent Mandarin speaker, was recruited through LinkedIn, a favorite hunting ground for Chinese intelligence. According to the FBI, China's use of professional networking sites to identify and approach targets is unprecedented in scale. China's economic espionage costs the US economy as much as $600 billion every year. The CCP's patient, decentralized approach makes it nearly impossible to catch every operative or plug every leak. According to the FBI, there are more than 2,000 active Chinese espionage investigations in the US alone. In the words of FBI Director Christopher Wray, there is no country that presents a broader, more severe intelligence collection threat to America than China. China's operatives have penetrated the highest levels of Western government, using a mix of money, relationships, and cyber tactics to gain access to the corridors of power. This is not a theoretical threat. It's a reality that has played out in capitals across the West, often in ways that have only come to light after years of damage. Let's start in the UK. In 2022, MI5 took the extraordinary step of issuing a public warning to Parliament about Christine Lee, a solicitor who had spent years cultivating relationships with members of Parliament and funneling hundreds of thousands of pounds in donations to political campaigns. Lee's activities were so extensive that she was photographed with prime ministers, attended high-level events, and even advised on government policy. MI5's alert stated that she was knowingly engaged in political interference activities on behalf of the United Front Work Department of the Chinese Communist Party. In the US, the case of Christine Fang exposed how Chinese intelligence uses social and romantic relationships to get close to power. Fang embedded herself in California politics, developed ties with at least 2 mayors, and even had a relationship with a sitting member of Congress. She attended fundraisers, volunteered for campaigns, and was seen as a rising star in local politics. When the FBI closed in, she abruptly left the country, leaving behind a trail of compromised officials and unanswered questions. As Glenn Carl, a former CIA officer, has stated, the Chinese are playing a long game, and they are very, very good at it. They are patient, they are methodical, and they are relentless in their pursuit of information and influence. Consequences are real and far-reaching. In 2018, the U.S. Office of Personnel Management revealed that Chinese hackers had stolen the personal data of more than 21 million federal employees, including intelligence officers. This breach gave China a treasure trove of information for blackmail, recruitment, and counterintelligence. Security experts warned that the OPM hack may have compromised entire generations of U.S. intelligence operations, as China can now cross-reference personal histories, travel records, and even family connections. The message is clear. China's infiltration of Western governments and intelligence agencies is not a distant or abstract threat. It's a daily reality, and the damage, measured in stolen secrets, compromised officials, and weakened alliances, is already being felt. The military stakes in China's espionage campaign are nothing short of world-changing. The CCP's relentless drive to close the technology gap with the West has led to some of the most audacious and damaging intelligence operations in modern history. Let's start with the F-35 Joint Strike Fighter. In 2007, Chinese hackers penetrated the Pentagon's network and exfiltrated terabytes of data on the F-35 program. The stolen files included detailed blueprints, radar specifications, engine schematics, and electronic warfare systems. The breach was so extensive that US officials privately admitted it set back the program by years and cost billions in additional security and redesign. The impact was immediate and visible. Within a few years, China unveiled the J-31 stealth fighter, a jet that, according to aviation experts, bears a striking resemblance to the F-35 in both design and capability. The similarities aren't just skin deep. Analysts have pointed out that the J-31's radar-absorbing materials, internal weapons bay, and even its cockpit layout mirror features unique to the F-35. The US Air Force's own threat assessments now treat the J-31 as a credible peer competitor. But the F-35 breach is only one chapter in a much larger story. In 2018, Su Bin, a Chinese aviation executive, was sentenced to nearly 4 years in US prison for orchestrating a years-long campaign to steal military aircraft secrets from Boeing and other defense contractors. With 2 Chinese military hackers, Su helped exfiltrate more than 630,000 files, including blueprints, test data, and maintenance manuals for the C-17 Globemaster III, F-22 Raptor, and F-35. The US Department of Justice has charged dozens of individuals in recent years with stealing sensitive technology for the Chinese military, including missile guidance systems, drone software, and naval propulsion technology. The consequences are already visible on the battlefield and the balance of power. China's rapid advances in stealth aircraft, hypersonic missiles, and naval technology are closing the gap with the West at an alarming pace. Perhaps most alarming is the way China's espionage has enabled it to field new weapon systems faster and cheaper than any peer competitor. The J-20 stealth fighter, the DF-17 hypersonic missile, and the Type 055 destroyer all incorporate features and technologies that Western analysts believe were acquired through espionage. The result? A Chinese military that is not only catching up, but in some areas, threatening to surpass the West. China's military espionage is not just about stealing blueprints, it's about rewriting the rules of global security. If the West fails to respond, the next generation of conflict could be fought on a battlefield where the technological edge no longer belongs to the democracies. So I'll ask you again, why should you care? Because foreign adversaries aren't just spying on governments, they're spying on you. Your personal data, habits, and even your emotions are being exploited to build psychological profiles, spread propaganda, and quietly undermine trust in our systems. This isn't abstract, it affects your vote, your finances, your sense of truth. Ignoring it means surrendering your freedom one click at a time. So what can you do? Use a VPN and install privacy-respecting browsers like Brave or Firefox. Review your app permissions today, especially those with access to your camera, microphone, and location. If you work in sensitive industries or government, push for security training on foreign digital threats. Don't just assume you're safe, verify it. Make sure to subscribe, like, and share this with someone who still thinks spying is just Cold War history. If this episode made you second guess how much influence foreign intelligence has in our everyday lives, leave your thoughts below. I want your questions, your pushback, and your personal takes. I read and reply to all comments. And if your insight raises a new angle, I'll feature it in the end of the series Q&A or a future episode. Find me at Why You Should Care Now on all platforms, or reach out directly at info@whyyousshouldcarenow.com. Full breakdowns and bonus content are at whyyousshouldcarenow.com. The spy game isn't dead. It just moved online.